I quit cold outbound after scaling my business to over 15K a month, gave up that 15K a month to do something completely different. Okay? So this video is going to be kind of a rant video. I'm going to go off and just talk about my experience with cold outbound. Is this something that you should do? If you're a coach, if you're a fitness coach, is this something that you should do? Is this something that can benefit you in terms of getting more clients? Do I do it anymore? I'm going to get into it. Okay? So when I was first starting in my business, I was working as a fitness coach. Okay? And then I transitioned from a fitness coach to pretty much helping businesses on a B2B level. The first type of business that I helped on a B2B level were gyms. So what I did is I went to gyms. Hey, gyms, do you want marketing? I'll run ads for you. I did that for gyms. Okay? And what I did with that, with gyms, is I did cold outbound to get all my clients for gyms. Okay? What I did is I did cold DMs, cold email, which is like, hey, I would send them an email or even like a Loom video embedded in the email, and then cold calls. After doing that for like a few weeks, I realized that cold calls were the best out of those three. So I dropped the other two and just went all in on cold calls, which is a form of cold outbound. So I would cold call these gyms. Hey, is the gym owner available? Oh, the gym owner is not here. Okay, what's his phone number? I would do that. Okay, and I did that for an entire year. Okay, so once I was like, okay, cold calls is something that's going to work. Makes sense. I think I could scale with this. Did that for an entire year. And for that year, what I did is I did it for an hour a day. So at the start of the year, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this an hour every single day except Sundays. So I did it Monday to Saturday, took Sundays off, so 6 days a week. And I would do that, okay, an hour a day. It was like, okay, I don't really care about the output. I'm just going to focus on the input. It's like with the gym, I want a six pack, yes, but I'm not going to focus on that. I'm just going to focus on going to the gym every day, okay? So that's what I did. I went to the cold calling gym every day. I went to the cold calling dungeon every day, as I call it. If you know, and if you've done cold calls before, you know it's fucking difficult. Okay, it's super difficult. And you get yelled at. It's hard, but it nets the best outcome out of cold outbound, etc. I'm not going to get into specifically why, but cold outbound for cold calls is probably the best. Okay. So I did that for a year straight, okay? 6 months into that year, I signed my first client with cold outbound. 6 months of cold calling. Yeah, 6 months. I was horrible at the start, got better, whatever. Signed my first client, okay? So the 7th month out of the 12 months, I was at client number 5, 8th month, 10, etc., okay? And what I was doing is I was charging retainers at the time. So $1,000 a month, $500 a month, $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, just like retainers, and I had a bunch of people. A year after doing this, I got to a 15K, roughly 15K, a little bit more, a little bit less sometimes, MRR base. Monthly recurring, every month, hit the account. Easy money, okay? Every day of cold calling. That's what I got after a year, okay? After that year, I'm like, okay, I'm at 15K a month, roughly. I should invest some of this money into ads. You know, everyone's talking about ads. I should learn ads. Because I'm doing ads for my clients, but I'm not doing it for myself. That doesn't make sense. So what I did is I had some money, put it into ads. Did ads for about 6 months, okay? From those 6 months of doing ads, I got a few clients. I got a decent amount of clients. But the biggest thing with ads is I realized that a lot of people really didn't give a shit either. And it was really difficult to sell. And people didn't want to pay up front. It was the same thing with cold outbound. People didn't want to pay up front. People were super hesitant. Why are you calling me? Okay, I don't know anything about you. Why are you calling me? It's the same with ads. So many ads out there, and it was super difficult to sell. Okay, so I did ads. I got a little bit of success with it. I also realized that it was the same boat as cold outbound. People weren't really taking me seriously. And then I realized with ads, I looked at my ads, my stats. I'm like, okay, with ads, it costs me $1,000 to acquire one client with ads. Okay, $1,000. And then with cold outbound, it costed me 5 hours of time to get one client. It cost me like a week of calling pretty much to get one client and $1,000 to get one client with ads. Okay, which was I was like, okay. After doing ads for 6 months, I was like, okay, what do I do now? Do I just keep doing with ads? Go back to cold outbound? And then I chose, I'm like, okay, fuck ads. I'm going to do cold outbound. So I turned off my ads. I'm like, I'm going to go all in on cold outbound for a little bit. This was a few months ago. This was not super long ago. I go all in on cold outbound. I do 100 dials a day for literally a week. A week of doing 100 dials a day, I signed 4 clients. But, okay, I signed 4 clients, which is good. It sounds good on paper. But now they're all gone. All of them have churned. Okay? And I'm going to tell you why it's not the fault of my service. Okay? It's not, oh, you just did a bad job, Ashton. No. It's the fact of the framing of cold outbound is super, super finicky. Okay? And you're already coming from a very low status point. Okay? So let's jump into this. Let's talk about this a little bit. So I signed 4 clients. Okay? 4 different gyms. 4 different gyms. All of them are gone now. Okay? What I realized after all of these people churned, I'll give you some examples of how they churned. So for example, the first gym paid me for a deposit. We did a free trial. It was like a paid trial, a substantiated rate. And then after the paid trial, they're like, hey, we don't want to pay the full amount. Gone, whatever. Next, they pay a upfront, same thing, trial. I was selling the trial. So you can't sell the full package upfront cold, right? You can't, that's merely impossible. So I'm selling a really attractive offer where it's no money up front, low barrier of entry. So I was doing that. Second client was like, hey, ad spend's super expensive. Can I get a refund? Whatever. After putting an effort into selling them, holy shit, all of these gyms, 3 hours of fucking meetings to get, okay? Not calls, meetings, individual meetings, okay? Third gym was like, hey, yeah, we got started. They paid upfront and then they just ghosted me. They're like, hey, yeah, can you just pause the ads for a sec? Ghosted me. Tried to turn them back on. They removed me from the admin. Fourth gym, they're just like, they contact me, hey, I got a member within our location to do our ads for us, so I think we're okay. Can we get a refund? So all of them churn, okay? And then I was thinking, I was like, why did they all churn? Is it my fault? Maybe potentially a little bit. Or is it the fault of cold outbound as a whole? Okay, and I'm going to break this down because it's super interesting for me. So number one, with cold outbound, what happens is because I'm reaching out to someone, they hold the power. So pretty much what happens with cold outbound is it's super difficult to sell and they have the power, okay? So what people do with cold outbound and what I did with cold outbound is I tried to make my offer to these gyms super attractive up front and pretty much made the barrier of entry really low, okay? I got into guarantees. I did, the paid trial was a very substantiated rate, only a few $100s for a paid trial, where I usually charge a few $1,000s. I tried only pay me when you get results. I tried everything in the book, okay? Everything from guarantees to make my offer super attractive, okay? And the same thing would happen every time, okay? I would get to people who are interested. We would start. And then after doing it for a little bit, what I realized is people just didn't give a shit. Okay, they don't take it seriously because the barrier of entry is so low. They just don't take it seriously. Okay, things that are hard, people will automatically take to the level of some sort of seriousness. Okay, so if let's say this exam is really hard, yeah, it's because it's an entry exam into Harvard. Does that make sense? Those two kind of correlate. So the barrier of entry was really low, so they just didn't take it seriously. Late to meetings, etc. And it was just chasing clients all over, chasing people all over, and it was just super difficult. Okay, people just don't take you seriously when you're doing cold outbound. Okay, if you actually look at cold outbound as a whole, what happens is these business owners will get tons of emails, tons of texts, tons of DMs, tons of calls from the same sorts of people who are reaching out to you. So after doing this for a long time, and I was consistently booking 3 to 4 meetings a day with maybe a 3% closing rate, 4% closing rate out of these meetings. No shows like crazy. People just don't give a shit. Okay? And I wasn't even selling the full package. I was selling a trial because I knew I had to make the money on the back end. I knew I just had to get people in. Right? It was crazy. So all of those, so for example, that one example I gave you, those 4 clients totally churned. Okay? People just don't really give a shit about cold outbound. It's just, to be completely honest with you, out of all of the games that are played within business, within getting clients, cold outbound is probably the lowest leverage form. Okay? I'm going to tell you why. You can spam DMs, you can spam volume, and sure, there's a statistic chance that you're going to sign people if you do 10,000 outreach a day. Of course there is. Okay? But your time is limited, and you should be figuring out the activity, not plural, activity that you do that nets the most for the least, which is the highest leverage. Okay? And what I found out after going through this process is that a combination of paid ads and YouTube organic is the most, like for me, it's just, it takes over. Okay? I have people come to, like, from my YouTube, oh, hey, I watch your content. Hey, you know, can I buy your program? I've been watching you for 6 months. Here's my credit card. Let's join. Okay? That doesn't happen with paid ads. That doesn't happen with cold outbound. So when you're doing cold outbound, just know that there are bigger games to be played. And if you're going to play a game, you should be playing the game with the intention of winning, not with the intention of just playing to play. Okay? That's a very big point. So just think, I've ran marketing campaigns for so many different companies. I've ran them for myself as well. Like cold outbound campaigns, paid ad campaigns, organic campaigns, all of these different campaigns. And cold outbound is by far the hardest to actually get a lot, like actually make money with. Okay? It's just a constant battle. You're constantly chasing people. You're constantly just in this rat race of trying to get clients, which is just like not something that you should be focusing on. Okay? You shouldn't be focusing on producing. You should be focusing on building something that produces. Okay? So instead of trying to produce and sell, you're just wasting your time. Focus on building something that can sell for you. If that is a team that does cold outbound, that's way better than you doing it. Okay? If that is YouTube channel that can sell for you automatically, focus on that. If it's a VSL funnel with paid ads, focus on making those ads the best that you could possibly make them, the VSL the best that you could possibly make it. Okay? And focus on doing that, building that system rather than just trying to produce. Because trust me, you are going to waste your time. You are much better off playing a game that is a lot higher leverage so that you can get more for less input. There's people out, like I work maybe like, I work quite a bit, but I know people who work like 2-3 hours a day and make 10 times more than me. Okay? So the game isn't working harder. The game is finding the right activities to do to get the most out of your time. The highest leverage activities. And focusing solely on just doing that and squeezing all the juice out of it instead of like doing like 1,000,001 different things. Okay? So if we're doing cold outbound, if you're reaching out to businesses, if you're a fitness coach and you're sending a bunch of DMs, hey, please buy my fitness program. That's not the frame you want to be in. That's not the frame you want to be in. You want people to come to you organically. You want people to discover you. You want people to go through an organic, oh my God, I just found this new YouTuber, or oh my God, I just found this new guy. This guy shares stuff that I just have never seen before. Holy crap. Okay? That is the frame you want to be in. Not, who the fuck is this guy reaching out to me? Okay? So, I hope this video provides a little bit of insight. This is kind of just a random rant of me just going off about cold outbound. I'm not a fan of it. I will honestly take cold outbound to the grave. I'm not going to do it. I just can't be bothered with it unless you're on some sort of business to corporation level and there's a really small market, like market size. That's maybe another story. But cold outbound is definitely not the play, especially in 2024 with thousands of people doing it. You have to find a way to do things that people aren't doing in order to win. I appreciate you watching the video. If you made it to the end, go down, shoot me a subscribe, like the video. Holla back at your boy. Peace, guys.